Hi, this is Dave, and before we get to the show, I wanted to ask you a favor. One of our goals this year is to grow the show so that What Does Star Wars Mean to You reaches more listeners. And that's where we're asking you for help. And it's really easy. Wherever you listen to us, please hit that subscribe button. If you're liking the show, give us a 5-star rating and review on the platform you listen to us. We make a lot of fun of the algorithm and the smash that button thing, but it really does help us get noticed by new fans. And if you want to join in on the conversation, find us on social at Star Wars Mean to You. That's Star Wars Mean, the number 2 in the letter U. Now, let's chat some Star Wars.
Hello there, this is Elora, and I'm a prequel trilogy kid.
And this is Dave, and I'm an original trilogy kid.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I always forget that. Oh, I continue talking here. And you're listening to What Does Star Wars Mean to You? We talk to all kinds of fans of the franchise, from industry insiders to indie artists, from obsessive mythologists to mega collectors, all for one goal: to take the hate out of the debate by focusing on one fan at a time, to find out what does Star Wars mean to you. Plus, it's just fun to chat Star Wars. So if you're listening to the show, please subscribe to it wherever you listen to us, and rate and like us as well, because it really helps get the word out there. And if you want to jump in on the conversation, you can follow us on any of the socials at Star Wars Mean to You. That's at Star Wars Mean, the number 2 and the letter U.
So last week we spoke to Jordan from Wookieepedia all about how he was first introduced to Star Wars, how he started working with Wookieepedia, and what some of his favorite entries are. One of them was a very obscure reference to a book called Monsters and Aliens from George Lucas, but we're going to let Jordan tell that story.
There's one in particular.
Okay.
And it is some of the most cursed knowledge that I've ever been cursed with.
Oh God.
And therefore I share it with everyone. And
do we need like a trigger warning?
Are you familiar with Monsters and Aliens by George Lucas?
No.
Okay, not
Which
many
is
people are.
strange, because
So
Yes.
it's sort of a quasi-reference book where it just kind of covers a lot of his old concept materials, some old kind of sketches. And in it, there's a story about something called Argo 6.
Uh-huh.
okay.
And the only way I can do it justice is by actually telling you the article.
Okay.
It's very short. It's what we call a comprehensive article. So it's under 250 words, and it's gone through our review process.
I'm sitting on pins and needles.
I know. I'm trying to think of what it could possibly be. And
You said it was
Argo.
Monsters and Aliens?
Yeah, so it's Monsters and Aliens from George Lucas was essentially a publication that combines creature designs and photographs from various projects George Lucas had done.
Oh.
So it's not, it's not canon or anything like that. It's not legends.
Yeah.
It just kind of exists on its own.
it's like the holiday special.
I feel a little bit less bad about not knowing what this is now.
It's very obscure.
Also,
we
it was
have-
released the year I was born, I'm reading right now, so it's that too.
Oh, hey, it was released the same year I was born. So it starts with a quote from something called the Galactic Gossip. I don't know what that is. Nobody does. A molecular dentist on Argo 6 performing a routine molar cracking uncovered a tiny but complex farm in the mouth of one of her patients.
What?
Argo 6 was a terrestrial astronomical object, the climate of which featured several seasons. All members of a family residing on the celestial body maintained miniature farms in their mouths, which helped them provide them with sustenance. The farm in the mouth of one member of the family consisted of fields of alfalfa, chicken coops, and a complex irrigation system.
There's so much happening right now.
I have to curse everyone with this knowledge.
So this week, for the episode between episodes, we decided to explore Wookieepedia. So this week, for the episode between episodes, we decided to explore Wookieepedia more and find some of our favorite obscure Star Wars characters, places, and events.
Yeah.
So we kind of broke it down to 3 things just to talk about, just to give us something to search and talk about. Our favorite background character with no lines, our favorite kind of background characters with a couple lines, and then the weirdest or most bizarre thing we learned on Wookieepedia. Because there is a lot,
There's
to learn.
You get lost on there. So
And,
what's your favorite background character that maybe, first background characters that have no lines?
Yeah, background characters with no lines. These are also known on social as glup shitos, which are it's from a tweet where a user said, every time a new Star Wars movie or show is announced, all the fans are like, "Oh my God, Glupshido is back!" And these are like the like Hammerhead and like the guys who appear for like 15 seconds, if that. But all these characters develop a fan base in Star Wars. Like, there's not a screen time character that someone doesn't love.
Yeah.
And I love the name Glupshido because it sounds like a Star Wars name.
Oh, yeah. No, it definitely does. When you first, I saw this note in your outline and I was like, at first my eyes went right to that before, like without any other context. And I was like, who is Glupshido or Shido or whatever? Like, I was like, I've never heard of that character. And then I realized that you were referencing like, it's all of them.
Yes. I wonder if other fandoms have that. Like in the Taylor Swift world, is there a focus on like I don't know what it would be in songs.
We're really acronym heavy. So like if you see just a string of letters, like most Swifties know what that means, but like nobody would necessarily. So we don't necessarily have like nicknames for things so much as we have just like crazy amounts of acronyms because our songs are so long.
So quick side note here. I'm sorry, but wouldn't it be awesome if there was a movie where Taylor Swift fans became like code breakers because they have all like World War III breaks out and it's like, how are we going to get, word to our allies in Europe? I know, hire the Taylor Swift fans. They can talk to the other Taylor Swift fans in Europe and right?
Oh no, it's a thing. Like we're like master code breakers. We make friends everywhere, and it's often a joke that like if you want something done, just get the groups of Swifties to do it. Yeah. Okay, so the Glupshidos, not Shidos, like I said. Although I bet there's somebody out there that pronounces it that way.
I think it's intentionally Shido.
Yeah,
I really do. Yeah,
like the Schitt's Creek joke. It's like
yes, exactly.
My favorite's not original and maybe kind of boring, but I really like the like Gonk, the like GNK power droids. And I don't know if these count as that, but I'm going to count them anyway because they don't speak. They just kind of make little sounds. Yeah, and I don't know. I think that like I've always found them kind of charming.
Now, is the Gonk droid a character that you've always kind of liked, or did you kind of grow into like suddenly one day you're like, you know what, I like the Gonk?
I think I always had like a soft spot for them whenever I saw them because I think little kid me thought they were like droid trash cans, like they were like incinerating garbage. It wasn't until I got older that I realized they were like traveling power generators. Which makes a lot of sense. Like if you think about like the galactic, world of Star Wars and all of the technology that they have, it would make sense that they would have developed some sort of power source that was like would travel with them for them.
Yes.
Like it's genius.
But they also wish I had one of those for my phone. Yeah. Could you imagine, like, if Gonk droids existed in real life, they'd just be at airport terminals, and everyone would be standing around with their plugs in it.
Oh yeah, they'd be like following them around. Yeah, exactly. I think, but they also got like the real short end of the droid stick. Like they didn't get like a lot of development. They're not So they're my favorite just simply because I feel like they're very underappreciated, but super necessary for the society.
Did you learn anything on Wookiepedia when you were like, I'm going to dive into some Gonkness?
I did. I learned that their droid speak was referred to as Gonkian, which I thought was adorable. There was the whole like Mace Windu joining Mission Fonder and then like defeating a GNK attack with his lightsaber, which I'm like, I need to dig into a little bit more because I'm not recalling that.
Well, it's probably from Clone Wars, it sounds like.
Yeah.
It could even be from a comic book. That's the crazy thing about Wookiepedia is like, it like covers every event.
But that blew my mind because I'm like, I didn't think of them as very like capable of attack.
Yes. Having arms also, like...
So I want to, actually, let's do it. Let's do it right now. I just clicked on Mission to Fondor. It was a separatist crisis that took place in 23 BBY.
Okay.
This is in Legends. Okay, so that makes sense why it's probably not as familiar to me. Anyone listening knows that I'm getting up to date on my Legends.
I find it interesting about Legends is I always forget how much of the prequel trilogy is covered in Legends. Like, I always think, I don't associate a lot of the books and comic books at the time as being prequels, because I always thought out the original trilogy stuff at the time.
Yeah, it looks like it involved Anakin and Obi-Wan, Butler Swan, Mace Windu. This was quite an event. And they were attacked by GNKs, and I think that's hilarious. So, what about you?
That is hilarious. That is now I kind of want to hunt that down. And I'm going to do a little Gonk research tonight and figure out what this battle is.
Too funny.
My favorite, I kind of went with you. It's kind of a grouping, really. Mm-hmm. There's like a couple of them. I went with the Emperor's Royal Guards, and they're the red-clad Royal Guards from Return of the Jedi. Yeah. Up in the Emperor's throne room. And ever since I was a kid, they come with like pole vault stick is their weapon, the action figure weapon. And they don't really do much, but man, they looked so cool. Red was my favorite color.
Yeah.
And I don't know, they don't speak. And I think they're really, really, like, they always felt menacing. Like, the Stormtroopers felt menacing up to a point. Like, I think around Return of the Jedi, you get it. They miss. They have no aim.
Yeah.
But the Royal Guards looked dangerous, even though those outfits look like you could not move in them whatsoever.
Oh, yeah. They're not practical at all.
They're not practical at all.
Well, wait. So what did you learn about them? Like, where do they come from? Like, who created them?
Well, what did I learn from them? Maybe this is where I fell apart on the homework assignment. Because
that's okay. I hadn't dove into the battle of the Gonks. So.
I had read so much about the other things I forgot to like read because I was like, oh, Emperor's Royal Guards. I love those.
That's fine. Definitely. That can be all it is. Yeah. We implore you, the listener, to go and look them up on Wookieepedia.
Well, yes. I think one of the things is that they're the elite guard. Okay, here's one thing that I did find out, that one of them was a clone. I thought that was really interesting.
Oh, that is interesting.
Because when I was looking at them, I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool if the Emperor had made specific clones just to guard him because he knew how good they were, and all the Stormtroopers were crap? So he was like, none of these people. I'm going to get myself some clones, some Jango Fett's.
I feel like that's got to be a mini-sode at some point, is just the cloning in Star Wars and like the impact of cloning in the story and on the like culture and society and the people. And because like there was a lot that like Force Awakens and the prequel trilogy kind of tried to dive into around. There was the cloning, but then it also sounded like it kind of started to become child abduction and like forced labor and stuff. And because
they stopped cloning and just went to like forced enlistment.
But like from infancy. No,
which is funny because this is something they don't play with, which I think is a perfect kind of thematic to play with, is the Jedi did the same kind of things.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And it may be more gentler or kinder, but it was still, they took kids away from their families and raised them to
be soldiers.
To be soldiers, yeah.
Yeah. But I guess in the galaxy far, far away, that was normal.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of you don't see a lot of portrayal of families like distraught over it anywhere that I've at least explored in the story. Like, I mean, even Shmi is quite calm for somebody whose 10 or 11-year-old son is going off with these guys she just met. They brought home from that were like stranded in the desert.
That's so true. These guys don't have a spaceship that works. Can they hang out here?
Yeah, like
so funny. Yeah.
So, who was your favorite secondary character that does have lines?
Okay, I have two. Okay. One is someone I was obsessed with before the Phantom Menace came out, and the other one is someone my friend and I used to just always make fun of. We always had his line. The first one is, for whatever reason, through the trailers of the Phantom Menace when it was first, before it came out, I just latched onto this one character. I was like, I'm going to get his action figure. I want to know everything about him. And I don't know if I knew he was going to be a side character or not, but it's Rick Oley. And this is the pilot for Queen Amidala's Naboo Royal Fighter.
Nice, which is one of my favorite ships.
Yes. Well, it's such a cool ship.
Yes.
Anyway, for some reason, I just thought he was going to be like maybe the Wedge Antilles of the series, maybe someone a little bigger. He just seemed so in the trailers. Let's go. This is in the trailers. He just seemed so real. I don't know. I have not a clue what it is. But I did buy his figure, and then I saw the movie, and I was like, oh. And it's very funny because one of the things I learned on Wookiepedia about him is people call him Captain Obvious because all his dialogue lines simply states well-observed facts like, there's the blockade. That's it, Tatooine. And we didn't hit it. But, which I find hysterical because it's like the writer's way of telling the audience, especially a young audience, hey, this is where we are in the story.
Yeah.
But it is also hysterical because it is kind of Captain Obvious. And then they extended that into the Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker saga, where they have, he's a playable character and he'll say just the obvious things like, I've collected something. I am able to help. I can't do that. Just says the most obvious things.
You're right. It's definitely for a childlike audience, needing to just kind of have that hand holding through the exposition.
yeah, that's exactly right. And I, you know what? I think Mace Windu had a lot of these lines too. Like he looks directly at the camera and goes, "This is the way we can capture the Sith and his apprentice." There was like all those lines where he was like, "Let me sum up what we just all decided."
Yes.
So I think after that I saw the movie, I was like, Rick's not as cool as I thought.
Aww.
But it is cool that he died defending Amidala. Like he died in the comic books, and I think Vader. Yeah. There was a group called the Amidalians, and they were on Naboo, and they were out to avenge Amidala's death. Now it's sounding weird to me. Padme's death. And
I was forgetting the word myself. Does that ever happen to you when someone gets a word wrong a couple of times and you're like, wait, what is it?
Wait, what is that word?
Amidala.
Yeah, it's like forgetfulness is contagious. So they lure Vader to Naboo thinking that they're going to ambush him and kill him, but of course he just slaughters them all. So that's...
in his Vader way.
I think my honorable mention is a Hoth fighter named Derek Clevian.
Ooh.
I didn't even know he had a name. But when Leia's giving the speech about how they're going to leave Hoth and the ships are going to escape and send an ion blast into the cruisers, he goes, 2 fighters against a Star Destroyer? And it's one of flattest deliveries of a line, especially that line, because you're like, he should be shitting his pants at that moment. And he's 2 fighters against a Star Destroyer. So my friend and I used to always just, whenever something was, we were nonplussed by something that should be amazing, we'd be like, 2 fighters against a Star Destroyer?
That's funny. I wish I had pulled more lines from multiple characters. The one that I focused on and decided to bring this episode is Dexter Jetster.
Yes.
I just I always stop if I'm doing laundry or something and I have the Attack of the Clones on in the background. I always have to stop at his scene and just watch because it's so funny to me. Just this concept that there's this diner owning, but also underground informant.
Yes.
He's just really kind of in depth with the criminal underworld, and and it says a lot about who might be his clientele and like what is overheard in this diner. But like it's also like up to interpretation, his background a little bit as well. But his lines are so funny. Just like is he also selling weapons like with a side of eggs? You know what I mean? Like it's just something about it that cracks me up. I think his role, it's so minor, and you only see him the one time that at least I'm aware of. I haven't read every comic book or anything, but
oh no,
yeah,
he's having a big resurgence right now. I feel like when Attack of the Clones came out, he was kind of jeered by the older fans.
Yeah.
I always liked him because he's very much a character within a detective noir story.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's kind of his function, and he does a great job at it, and it is kind of, he is layered in an interesting way where it's like, yeah, I own a diner, but I'm also like this underground.
I could also have someone go missing and they never never find that like kind of vibe. Like it's like he just adds so much depth and I feel like flavor almost to just the Star Wars universe. It just kind of like really shows you, I just think it's a great example of just the eclecticness, I think is what I'm looking for, of the galaxy and all the various different corners of it. And I feel like they've been doing that more and more with some of the new shows on Disney. Like you're getting more and more glimpses of things that are just kind of like everyday like haunts for people and gives you like an idea of the life of just the average person in this galactic universe. But yeah, he's my favorite. But he's also very wise. Like he'll say something like, you think Jedi would have more respect for the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Like that's actually really profound.
Yeah. And it's also, I don't know, I'm sure there is somewhere the story of how like Obi-Wan met Dexter Jettster.
Yeah.
It's Jettster or is it Jettster?
It's Jettster.
I think, yeah. Stir.
It kind of
I think all my life I said Derek. I said Dexter Jettster.
Well, he kind of gives off a Jester-like vibe. He's definitely like a bit of comic relief. So anyway, that's my contribution to today is the underground crime informant diner owner who's able to identify an obscure poison dart.
Yeah. Now, in a certain point of view, Return of the Jedi, Adam Lance Garcia has a story about Dexter Jettster. Dexter Jettster.
Oh my God, wait, really?
Yeah, yeah.
That's the one I don't have. I just looked at my shelf. I'm gonna have to buy it.
Yeah, it's a good story. Okay, so what is... I picked a very bizarre entry, one that just popped out at me, and I was like, oh my God, because I was looking, like I even Googled weirdest Wookiepedia entries, and I was like bouncing around, and look, there is bizarre stuff. There's like the guy who's a floating head. It's just, there's so much weirdness in the world that I found something that I felt was like, okay, this is just bizarre. This is a lot of detail.
I'm afraid we have the same one. Please continue. I'm so excited.
Okay, you want me to do it? I'll do mine first. Okay. There is a entry and it has canon and legends definitions.
Oh, we don't have the same one. Okay.
And it's entry ramp.
Entry ramp.
Yes. Let me read you entry ramp.
Yes, please.
It's short. Entry ramps, also called boarding ramps and landing ramps, were extendable planks used to enter and exit starships. Ramps were typically lowered and raised with hydraulic pistons such as the central lifter. Designed for the ascent or descent of beings or objects, variations included passenger, pedestrian, docking, and loading ramps.
Okay.
I just that there's
there's an entry
for ramps. And not that there's an entry for ramps, there's a canon and a legends entry.
Yes.
And I apologize. I feel like I kind of bullshitted the assignment a little bit, but and here's my favorite. Here's the canon definition.
Yeah.
Entry ramps, also known as boarding ramps or landing ramps, were ramps used to board starships. Then there's a picture of a Quarren walking down a ramp. And it's like, yes, that is a boarding ramp.
No, I think that's 100% within the assignment. That is so Wookiepedia. Like if you see it on screen, there's an entry for it. If it's referenced in a book, if it's
Yes.
illustrated in a comic book, it's here.
There.
And like that's what's so great about it.
By the way, I hope Disney Plus starts the new game show. That's so Wookiepedia.
That's so Wookiepedia. Mine is hilarious. I'd never seen this before. I went in and kind of did some like just searches of like random words and kind of did what we would do on Wookiepedia, which is just like click through and like try to find something obscure. And I came across I can't laugh as I explain this. It's not like easy listening. Okay. It's called The Emperor's New Clothes.
What?
It's legends.
Okay, that makes a little more sense.
I'm gonna read this to you.
Yeah, please, because I'm.
The Emperor's...
Is it like David Spade is a alpaca?
Yeah, right. It's a band. So it's a galactic band. They were a pro-imperial band during the Galactic Civil War who frequently got good ratings from the Imperial Board of Culture. Its rival was the anti-imperial band The Red Shift Limit, who parodied their song, quote, totally patriotic. The album cover is this kind of like, it's very Green Day inspired. It's got like a black background and it's all white and there's like a fist coming out of the ground with like the roots kind of thing. And it's making like an open fist, like just the fingers are bent. And then it says Emperor's New Clothes like behind it. So
that's insane.
Quick history. The Emperor's New Clothes, shortened to TENC, which actually is not easier to say, was lauded its support for the Galactic Empire. The band enjoyed success among two primary groups of listeners, those who believed everything the band said and those who believed the exact opposite, which I thought was kind of funny. So you had the people who were like following it like a cult, and then you had the people that were following it so that they could dissect it and tell them why they were wrong.
Yes. You know what? That actually sounds like Star Wars fandom.
It sounds like every fandom.
It sounds like every fandom. You're right.
Upon realizing this fact, the Imperial Board of Culture toned down its reviews of the Emperor's New Clothes works. The first group of listeners primarily included members of the Imperial military and the Commission for the Preservation of the New Order, as well as inhabitants of core worlds. Among second group ranks were traders, smugglers, pirates, and Swoop Gang members.
Wow.
They were propaganda pushers. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And that's what's kind of interesting about them. There are some references that I've come across in the comic books where the Empire controls art and wants, their message to be in everything. And I think that's a really interesting. I just assumed this is a punk band. Who knows? It might be like.
I think it's giving off punk. In fact, there's a line in here that says the fan base was so volatile that the concerts were known to be incredibly dangerous. I'm just imagining like a galactic like mosh pit.
Yeah, that's exactly
really
exactly what I was.
People, like a Trump rally.
That's what we have to do. We have to do sketches of like the Emperor rallies where there's people just decked out in like Emperor merch outside, and then we have like the Daily Show type of people interviewing them, going like, Emperor Palpatine killed all the
great
Jedi.
again.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I can say that on here, not to get too political, but that's what it's giving.
Yes.
And then there's a whole paragraph in here on their rivalry with the Red Shift Limit and how they were like parodying each other's songs and just like getting deeper and deeper into this rivalry. And music rivalries always crack me up just inherently because all it is people yelling poetry at one another.
I love that definition because of the yelling poetry at each other. That's brilliant. Oh my God.
Go do yourselves a favor. Go look up the Emperor's New Clothes and have a good laugh. That's all. I only kind of like scratched the surface.
I want a whole like behind the music of the Emperor's new clothes.
I want Disney to make a mockumentary of this like rivalry.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Almost like the old like
Spinal Tap.
guerrilla. Yes, or like the old like guerrilla journalism movies that like that kind of like
yes.
of like Latin, you know, like old Latin American like early cinema, that kind of like underground vibe. Like
Yes.
that would be epic. That would be so fun.
One of the things that Wookiepedia is great for is discovering what is canon. Today, Matthew Freeman talks about some of the more interesting canon tidbits from that galaxy far, far away. And of course, Wookiepedia is a part of this journey. Matthew Freeman is a friend of the show, a playwright, and author of the newsletter Ahch-To Baby. You can find the link in the podcast notes or go to matthewfreeman.substack.com to subscribe.
Hi, everyone. This is Matthew Freeman from Ahch-To Baby, and this piece is called, Yes, These Things Are Canon. I'd like to highlight a few things in Star Wars that are technically canon because Star Wars is hilarious and so sometimes is the concept of canon. First of all, Fiddler on the Roof is canon. In Season 3 of The Mandalorian, if you listen closely, Jack Black sings a few bars to Lizzo. Do you love me? Her response, yes, I do. It's at the 11-minute mark of Guns for Hire, and it doesn't happen on camera. It's just a little bit of banter while the camera shows us guests and local color. This musical exchange is from Fiddler on the Roof. Therefore, Fiddler on the Roof is canon. Perhaps it is a story told over and over throughout history, emerging from the Force. Kind of like how in Battlestar Galactica, Bob Dylan's All Along the Watchtower is just an angelic, harmonic, galaxy-class chorus that rings out throughout all of space and time. No notes. Ducks are canon. We'll be sitting ducks, says Captain Panaka in The Phantom Menace. Ducks are canon, that's right. There was even a StarWars.com databank entry for ducks that has since been taken down, an effort to maybe address the problem of ducks as canon. I'm sure they're called something else now. I'll look at Wookiepedia. Peliki. All right, thanks, Wookiepedia. A great source for all your ducks needs. But whatever they were renamed, they're ducks. It's too late. Panaka hath spoken. John Williams, composer, is canon. The Empire uses the Imperial March in its advertisements in Solo, and the New Republic uses the Resistance theme in its Coruscant parks. Therefore, being a bartender on Kijimi is clearly just this guy's day job. Coffee is canon. It's not too subtly renamed calf in the books and the comics, but it's coffee. Coffee is everywhere. To my ear, one hint that a writer is using placeholder banter before getting into the meat of a scene is hearing or reading about coffee. It happens a lot in fiction podcasts. I can't even deal with this before I have my coffee. How do you take it? Black, of course. Because of this tendency for writers to obsess for their own personal interest in coffee, there's no fictional universe without coffee, not even the far reaches of space. Intelligent life, apparently, cannot survive without it. This is not to be confused with Jawa juice, which, I don't know, seems like it was supposed to be coffee in Attack of the Clones, but comes out of a Jawa? Ugh. And finally, the Halcyon is canon. The recently closed galactic star cruiser, the Halcyon, is canon. You may think, well, of course, everything is canon. But this in particular is a monument to how canon and Lucasfilm's Everything Matters approach can build out the larger Star Wars galaxy in unorthodox ways. The Halcyon was introduced in 2019, just 5 years ago. It was not a part of the Star Wars galaxy in any way for 4 decades. Then in only 5 years, even though it was ultimately not a successful venture, it appeared in every era of Star Wars, from the High Republic to the post-Episode 9 Star Wars Lego Summer Vacation. It had its own comic series and became the location of Han and Leia's honeymoon in the book The Princess and the Scoundrel. This ship lasted 300 years and has always been right out of frame, like Nikki and Paolo in Season 3 of Lost. Of course, after all that time, it took about 3.5 years for American capitalism to destroy it. Thanks very much.
You know, doing the show, sometimes moments get edited out, and for a variety of reasons. Maybe it's no longer relevant, maybe is a long tangent that kind of distracts from the overall conversation. Whatever the reason is, we have these cut moments, and sometimes we just want to share them. So before we go, here's a deleted moment from our conversation with Jordan from Wookiepedia. Now, I'm going to ask a question I'll probably cut because I'm not sure when this will come out. It'll come out in the next 4 weeks, I think. But Tech, do you think Tech's alive?
Oh, interesting.
I have grappled with that one. And I don't know if I want him to be dead or if I want him to be alive, because him being alive kind of takes away from the whole feeling of it.
Yeah.
But if he is alive and he's been brainwashed, that's a nice redemption story right there.
Yeah.
And I can have a lot of fun with that on social media.
Oh, yeah.
I already
like
did
a
that
Star Wars
last.
thing to do.
I mean, I already did that last night when I threw out a Twitter poll that was literally just
That's right. Yes.
it was just a period and Cody Tech. That's it. No context. And I just let the internet run wild with it.
Yes.
It doesn't top my all-time favorite, though, which was last year. It was on Valentine's Day, and I didn't even mean to do this. The very first tweet at I think 2 a.m. was a shot of the Razor Crest exploding.
Oh,
and I didn't even notice what day it was, and everyone was just out for my blood that day. I had so many people screaming at me that day, and it's but it's funny. You laughed, therefore I think it's okay that that I didn't notice what day it was.
Oh man, the perils of social media working.
That sounds very much like something I would do.
Yeah, Dave would do that.
Topped only by the April Fool's Day tweeting.
What is your favorite April Fool's tweet?
So for me, what I'll normally do through and it's more so our Twitter, just because I can schedule everything in advance. I will not call it X, it's Twitter.
Yes, you are right.
So
I can't disagree.
Normally what I'll do is I'll steal the logos. I'm going to expand it a little bit this year, but I'll steal some content from other sites. So last year we tweeted about Master Chief. We tweeted about Warrior Cats. I think I threw in some Ace Combat and Doctor Who. And it was just kind of this mismatch of just whatever unhinged things I could find. Just the most random things that had nothing to do with Star Wars. And it culminated with a tweet that simply said, pay attention for a special announcement later. In a few hours, it was just announcement. We lost the game.
Oh, that's funny.
It was just the perfect way. It's April Fool's. You gotta have some fun.
Yeah.
I'm sure you got a lot of angry tweets at that way.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, there was people out for my blood that night.
Yeah.
It was worth it. It's all worth it if it brings someone a little bit of joy.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what we found fun on Wookiepedia this week. We urge you to send us and tag us on social your favorite Wookiepedia entries. Please take us down all of the crazy, convoluted, totally wild, and hilarious rabbit holes. We want to see them all.
We want to hear what your Glupcheeto is.
Yes.
And thanks to Matt Freeman for his Ahch-To segment. I really love having his voice on the show. I just find it calming.
Yeah, just you have the best reading voice, but also love your insights. Thank you so much for partnering with us. We love having you.
And then next week we talk to Olivia DeFlippo, an actor and cosplayer who's so much fun.
She's so cool. Such just a beam of sunshine. She's a really fun interview. Yeah.
Until then, may the Force be with you.
And with you.
How he started working with Wookiepedia and some of his favorite entries and what some of his favorite entries are. Blah, blah.
And
what yes. And what some of his favorite entries are. That and is not going to connect at all. I'm just going to start over.
Do you want me to read this part?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like maybe
just because you also haven't said anything for 5 minutes. Hi, this is Dave. And before we get to the show, I wanted to ask you a favor. One of our goals this year is to grow the show so that What Does Star Wars Mean to You reaches more listeners. And that's where we're asking you for help. And it's really easy. Wherever you listen to us, please hit that subscribe button. If you're liking the show, give us a 5-star rating and review on the platform you listen to us. We make a lot of fun of the algorithm and the smash that button thing, but it really does help us get noticed by new fans. And if you want to join in on the conversation, find us on social at Star Wars Mean to You. That's Star Wars Mean, the number 2 in the letter U. Now, let's chat some Star Wars.